Welcome to this really special event, a live session with my guide Sanaya. And we're going to be bringing in Janet Nohavec soon. Janet, if you have a camera, I would love if you would turn it on so we know that you're here with us. But I am coming to you live from Salt Lake City, Utah. I am very grateful to my friend Irene Bozich for allowing me to use her home and her wonderful internet signal. That's always crucial when we do these events. And so also to Mike Muir from Unity of Salt Lake City for doing the technical background stuff. So, you know, I have to tell you this just while we allow a few more people to come in. It's always good to have humor before you connect with the spirit world. It helps raise the vibration. So I want to tell you that Ty is tuning in from our RV. We're staying at a campground about a half an hour from here, Salt Lake City. And we had this brilliant idea to go kayaking today on the Great Salt Lake. How cool is that? And we were just so surprised there was nobody else on the lake. A beautiful day. We got up at 6:30 in the morning to beat the heat. We get out to the lake and oh, there's this problem. There are all these bugs, these little flies, right where you launch the boats. And we're like, well, maybe they're just around the launching area. We've had that happen. But once you get out on the water, it's fine. But it was a little bad. So we get going and I have to ask you all a question. Can you spell swarm? It was so bad. We got out about 15 minutes. I looked at Ty and I said, have you had enough of this? And he said, yes. And we turned around, and if it was bad going one direction, once we turned around with the wind no longer behind us, now they really kicked up. And it was, how fast can we paddle to get back to the marina? And I don't know if you've ever heard my guides, they have this phrase that you say when something knocks you off balance. Isn't that interesting? And I was saying it over and over as all of these flies, these little things are crawling all over me, and I wanted to scream, but I said, this is a test, this is a test. And I get back and I went up to the ranger, it was a state park, and I said, what are these bugs? And he said, they're called Brian flies. And I said, Brian flies? And I looked it up and they're called brine flies, B-R-I-N-E. It's the Great Salt Lake. They like the salt water. And I looked it up and there are literally billions of them, which is why there was not a single other kayaker on the lake. So that's been my day. And I figure anything after that is going to be awesome. So here we are today to channel Sanaya and rise above the human stuff. If we can laugh at that, we can laugh at anything, right? Well, I'm just thrilled to have so many of you here. My guide Sanaya said to me recently, you need to be doing more channeling sessions and we would like you to do it online to reach more people. And I said, all right, if you really want me to do that, I need a sign. And I would like the sign to be, and I pulled out of the air, Esther Hicks, who channels Abraham. I would like an Esther Hicks sign within the next 2 days. And sure enough, there on YouTube comes a little Esther Hicks video that I didn't even ask for. It was just over in the side. And I said, okay, so we'll be doing this. And shortly thereafter, my wonderful friend and original mentor in mediumship, Janet Nohavec, reached out to me. And she said, Suzanne, we're trying to raise money for the Hydesville Schoolhouse renovation. Janet is an amazing, amazing proponent of spiritualism and does so much to spread this philosophy and religion around the world, and started her own church with so much faith that it's kind of one of those build it and people will come type things. If you've read her biography, where two were through the darkness, I should know I was her co-writer with that. You will see how she just has the most amazing faith, and she's gone out and bought this schoolhouse, and it's really in disrepair and needs a lot of repair, and she's raising funds for this. So she reached out to me and asked me if I would do a demonstration of mediumship with her, like a gallery reading. Many of you are familiar with that. And right away I felt my insides clench. You know, always listen to your body. That's a sign, that's a no. And I wanted to support Janet, but I have just found that gallery readings are not my calling. And teaching is, and my one-on-one readings, I love them, but I didn't want to say no to Janet. And all of a sudden I went into meditation and said, what do I do? And they said, what did we tell you? The team said, you will be doing more channeling. So here we are. I went to Janet and I said, I would like to propose that I do a channeling session. And I've asked Janet to be with us here today. And I'd like to bring Janet on the screen. There you are. Everybody can see you now. Janet, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm deeply appreciative for everybody that came, and particularly to you and your team.
Well, Janet, I have kept you deliberately in the dark as the excitement's been building. My wonderful assistant, Bev, I want to thank Bev for the pregame show, as we call it. She knows what I'm about to share with you, but I want to tell all of you who've signed up. I said to Janet, if we had done a demonstration of mediumship, how much money do you think would you have hoped to have earned for this wonderful schoolhouse project? Because it's going to be used as a healing temple, right, Janet?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
And she said, well, about $4,000, but anything is good. So I would right now like to draw on the collective energy of everybody who's gathered here today and thank all of you for the announcement that I'm about to make to Janet, because it's all of you who made this possible. But Janet, we've had 900 people sign up, and at the end of this program, we're going to send you over $15,000.
I'm going to try not to cry.
Well, we wanted you to cry, so go ahead.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm blown away. Oh my God, I am going to cry.
Yay. We've watched that number go up as everybody just was so generous and signing up. And I said to Bev, I said, we're manifesting $10,000. And I knew it. I had no doubt. And when we got to 10 and the number kept climbing, I said, wow. So I said, we're going to go to 14,000. I'm going to say, we didn't get 4, we got 14. And this morning it was 15,000, and it's actually still going up a bit. So I just, again, it's always a pleasure to give. And I told Sanaya that I never wanted to take money for this gift that they give to me, to get to feel their presence and to share their messages with everybody. So it's a win-win all around. And again, Janet, would you just tell people what the schoolhouse is going to be used for?
Sure. In this little hamlet in 1848, 3 little girls heard a rapping in their house and tried to communicate with the rapping, and it began the beginning of modern day spiritualism. But for me, it began the day where the door of the spirit world opened just a bit and has never been closed. And part of what beautiful Suzanne does today is to keep that door between the spirit world and this world open, a spiritual world. And I'd just like to say to Suzanne, Anne Gaiman, who you well know, I have to say, years ago said to me, you sure you don't want to buy a little schoolhouse? And I said, no, Anne, I don't want to buy a schoolhouse. But lo and behold, a very dear friend to both of us and a wonderful ambassador to spirit, I'm sure is sharing this platform as well in spirit with us from where she is, because I know she as well is saying, this is just incredible. I have no words, and I literally am moved to tears. So, you know, our goal is to raise $250,000. It's not for me, it's for the legacy of that area of New York State where this began. This will kind of cement in a place that we will find a way to keep that alive, because we can never let that door between 2 worlds close. We need to know that love is eternal, and that 2 worlds, that love can be shown and expressed. May you deeply know my gratitude to you and your team.
Well, again, it goes to everybody, but my gratitude goes to Janet, because if any of you have not gone to YouTube or to my website and watched the Messages of Hope documentary, Janet was kind enough to reenact the scene, a moment in my life that changed my life. I met Janet because she lived next to, or a few doors down, to Anne Gaiman at Lilydale, a spiritualist community in New York. And I was there to write Anne Gaiman's biography, which became my Hay House book, The Priest and the Medium. And I was introduced there to Janet. And Janet came up to me and said, told me about evidential mediumship. Here I was interviewing Anne Gaiman, but I had never heard that term, evidential mediumship. And I asked her, what is that? And she said, that's when you're not satisfied unless those in the spirit world give you evidence that you're talking to them. And that's the way the British train people. And Janet has brought that training here. Not that other mediums in the United States don't stress the evidence, many do. But Janet is all about raising the bar of mediumship in the United States. And so I ultimately studied in England, where Janet is a certified tutor. Are you still the only American certified to teach at the Spiritualist National Union at Arthur Findlay College?
Yeah, my distinct honor.
So the moment that changed my life was when Janet asked me to write her biography, and I went to her class in mediumship at Lilydale to write about her. And instead, she called me to the front of the room and said, you can do this too. There's a spirit standing here. What do you sense? And by grace or whatever, I guess it was my path, I brought through a man that was there with amazing evidence, and the rest is in the documentary. And the rest is history. So I owe this moment and every moment to you, Janet, because you showed me what was possible. So what I'm going to be doing today is a little different, and I will tell you right up front, this is not trance mediumship. This is not the pure British trance. This is channeling, and I've been doing this for over 10 years with my team, Sanaya. I will invite them in here in a moment. I can feel their presence so clearly already. And my goal is to get out of the way so that they can speak to all of you. So let's get on with that. They always answer questions in a group. And I know that one of the main reasons, not only is because we all want to learn from the higher levels, which is where Sanaya is, but also I've had people tell me, when I listen to you speak and bring through Sanaya, for a while I thought, well, that's beautiful, but maybe she's making it all up. Maybe it's her imagination. But when you answered questions, when they answered the questions, we just couldn't deny that that wasn't you, because the fluency, the immediacy with which they answer the questions, the depth, the beauty of the questions is just a lovely thing to experience. So I love sharing that with you. And many of you have submitted questions. In fact, Bev said it ahead of time, far too many that then can be answered today. So I'm sorry if we won't get to your questions, but we'll do a special Q&A session later that will be open to anybody. And we'll announce that through my website. But the way this will work is, in just a moment here, I'll get quiet. And since they're already present, it won't take me too long to get attuned to them. But I'll take a moment or minute or two to get the Suzanne story out of the way, to shift the focus to the spirit world, to invite Sanaya in, to blend their consciousness with mine, so that when they start speaking, it's them. Now, I am somewhat conscious of what's coming through me, but it's more like I'm listening just like you are. It's like a split consciousness. Their words are coming out of my mouth, the emotions are theirs, yet I'm listening and making commentary as Suzanne in the background thinking, oh, they're talking about that today, or oh, they've never said that before. So it's really quite interesting for me. I love it because it's such a blissful feeling. But the main reason I love doing these channeling sessions is because it's an experiential thing for you. I'd like you to really tune into your heart as you're experiencing this and see how it feels to you. Many people experience tingling or different sensations in their own body. Some people feel like they want to cry, and that's your soul saying, pay attention, this is what you need to hear. We've had people have actual physical healings during these sessions, and you don't have to be in the same room with me. I love that you've joined me from around the world for this session today. And because the spirit world is right here in a place where there is no space or time, they are right here with you in the room as well. So just enjoy the experience. When they ask for questions, my wonderful assistant, Bev, has compiled all the questions that were submitted. As they came to me by email and I saw the subject line questions, I just sent it immediately to Bev without reading them because I didn't want to know any of the questions in advance. She's going to go down the list and ask as many as Sanaya will take. And I don't know how long they're going to talk today, but somewhere under an hour, most likely. Let's see. I feel that's pretty much it, but just as Janet said, the purpose of this is to show that we are part of something so much more than this physical world, that there is a greater reality, and to help our souls align with that higher energy so that we leave changed, our vibration raised just from this very experience. It can happen just like that. So again, my gratitude to all of you for joining us here today, and I hope you enjoy the experience. Bev, I am so happy you started the recording, or it went automatic, because I just now realized I hope we're recording, and I looked up and we are. So wonderful. I think that's all my notes. What we'll do now is I'd just like to do a little invocation, and then I'll get quiet and we'll invite Sanaya in. By the way, for anybody who's not familiar with Sanaya, they came through to me on my birthday in 2010. It was a masculine and feminine presence, and I said, "Who are you?" And they said, "We are a collective consciousness of your guides, and you will write and write and write messages as us. You will call us Sanaya." And of course, now I do more than write for them, I speak for them. But when we looked up the meaning of the name, it means one worth knowing, a collective. It also means eminent, distinguished, and of the gods. But most significant to our family, my family, is that years later we found out it also is an Arabic name meaning flash of lightning, which is how my stepdaughter was killed. And that's what started me on this entire path. So a very creative and meaningful name for all of us. So let me just get a sip of water here before we do the invocation. I'd like all of you to know that you make a difference as part of this group. So by focusing on gratitude and radiating your love outwards, it's felt by this entire group as one field of love together. So how awesome is that, that right now we have about 750 of us gathered. I have a small group gathered right here, 10 of us in the room live with me, just as special vibration raisers. So it's just a beautiful day to share this together. So let's all around the world, close our eyes for a moment and take a nice relaxing breath. And if you could move your awareness to the heart center where we're all connected, know that it's that center in you that connects you with all that is. So visualizing that light within you that never goes out, send your light outward now. There's no limit to how far you can shine. And in doing that now, we are all connected in awareness. We're always connected anyway, but now one whole. And as I speak for everyone, we acknowledge our gratitude for being called today together for this experience, to experience the spirit world. With so much gratitude, we look forward to hearing what those at the higher levels have to share with us. May each of us experience something sacred. May each of us have our vibrations raised by being present here. May each of us hear exactly what we need. May healing take place at an emotional level, at a physical level, and at a spiritual level, so that we are changed for the better by coming together and spending our time with this holy group. In gratitude, we thank you. All right. All right, if you would continue just radiating that love with the intention of helping this group merge with me, I'm going to get out of the way, and I'll see you when it's all over, but now we invite in Sanaya with gratitude. All right, I'll see you later. Okay. Good afternoon. And we wish you to know that there is also quite a bit of humor across the veil. And we are laughing a bit at this one, the channel, for she is trying so very hard to set aside the human side. And she is quite aware that she is being watched by the teacher. And how many of you have had to do something in front of someone you respect, a teacher, and you get a bit nervous? But we wish to tell you that the connection with higher consciousness does not take place at the human level. When you find yourselves a bit nervous, a bit fearful, this is an indication that you are in human mode. And it is understandable, for you spend most of your waking moments in human mode. But this process of channeling is an example of what happens when you get the human mode out of the way and allow higher consciousness to flow through you in such a way that you are aware of it and it benefits not only you, but those around you. If you could realize that higher consciousness flows through you at all times, that you are this higher consciousness, and that you have a choice as to the point of view you take at any time, why then we dare say you would find so much more peace in your waking moments. Our greatest teaching of late has been to try to get all of you to understand you are so much more than only human. You have your songs which state you are only human, and this is a falsehood. You have come to believe this, and if you do completely buy this story that you are the story with your name attached to it, then you will suffer. Have you suffered enough? We wish you to know that we are quite aware that all of you are going through a period of great angst. We can see the light around your planet at this time, and it has become a bit dimmer than normal. That is the tumult that you are going through. But we wish you to know that this will pass. Up and down is the human norm. And always, 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 there is growth from chaos. You must keep this in mind if you wish to find the peace, and know that this too shall pass, and see it as the opportunity that all of this tumult is for all of you to grow. How are you handling the changes in your lives right now? How do you feel when you see another wearing a mask? How do you feel when you must put a mask on? Does it cause you consternation? Does it cause you fear? Does it cause you to not want to go outside? These are human responses. If you can program yourself to recognize these human responses as an opportunity to shift perspective, to rise above your humanity and step into your soul nature, your true being, then all will not have been for naught. You will have grown, and you will look back when all has settled down once again and say, well, I did pretty well there. I did not completely crumble. This is not to say it is a bad thing to crumble. This channel, in fact, has had her moments lately. But once you come to know the peace that passes all understanding, and we will show you how to achieve that state quite shortly here, then the discomfort of being caught up in the human story becomes so blaringly obvious that you want nothing more than to dissolve back to your true nature. And that is the teaching. It takes only a moment to dissolve the story, to change points of view. But how can you do this until and unless you acknowledge that you have other points of view available to you? Why is it that you came to this event today? To hear from those in the spirit world. Yes, we speak to you now, but we are available to all of you instantly at any moment by simply acknowledging the higher realms exist and you can access them at will. You are seeing a demonstration of this that came about through the belief that it is possible and through the commitment on a daily basis, if you are so dedicated to connect with your own higher self, to come to know that the love you seek is here and has been here within you all along. Can you feel the love that we in the higher realms are radiating to you at this moment? Soak it up. You have come here to feel this today, but we want you to know it is yours for the taking at any moment. And so when you become aware that you are off balance, that you are sucked into the drama, take a moment and take a breath and dissolve. Step back in that moment of breathing. If you need to send out a prayer, then do so. We are always listening. Higher consciousness can only be here where you are, for you are always and already connected with higher consciousness. You are this higher consciousness. It is one field of being, not a being itself, but one sea of love. And we do hope that you can feel this love now. So we have given you already a few tips how to rise above the challenges you face. A very helpful phrase, in addition to the one already given to you prior to our stepping in, such as, isn't that interesting, when things do not go as you had planned, is simply to state the word story as a reminder that this drama you are living out is a story and it will always change. But that which never changes is who you are. You are us at the human level. We are you at a higher level. It is all love. That light which you radiated from your hearts is indivisible. And we love you so very much. We feel you soaking up that love that we send your way. And we are most grateful for that which you send to us. It can be no other way but this exchange of love, and gratitude brings it ever more clear to you. And in gratitude for your coming to join with us today, we look forward to answering some of your questions, as many as possible. Please do know that any medium is always a filter. It must go through the medium's consciousness, but we will do our best to get around the consciousness of this one to give you the highest possible answers. But always, always test what you hear in the heart. That is the bridge between your human story and the soul. We do not have all answers, for even we are a collective field of energy, but joined with all of you, we gain even more power, and look forward now to your questions. You may ask now.
Yes, we've heard so much about a big shift, Sanaya, evolution of humanity. Is humanity nearing a major shift in evolution right now?
There is no nearing about it. You are in that shift, and it is like a snowball. And when one rolls around in a snowball, there is that tumbling, is there not? And some of you can feel the shake-up. But not only is it a shake-up, it is a wake-up. And so the wake-up call is yours for the taking. Will you resist it, or will you roll with that and roll with the changes? It is not only your COVID virus which is causing this shift in awareness. It is so many people saying we are tired of the way of doing things. We are looking for fairness and equality. That is the human's birthright. And we wish you to understand that humans are doing their very best. But when you find yourselves clashing, please understand that that is because you are stuck in your human viewpoint. The greatest favor you can do for each other to increase this change in consciousness is to shift your viewpoint, see from each other's eyes, and find the common ground, the middle ground. This will help to accelerate this shift in consciousness. It is the human way to not appreciate change, but growth only happens through change. So be patient with each other, be compassionate with each other, have understanding that you are all tumbling about right now. But what happens when a snowball rolls? It becomes larger and larger, and your consciousness is rising in kind. Another, please.
Thank you. Are there beings from higher dimensions among us here on Earth to help with evolution?
We wish you to know that your world and our world are one and the same, simply different frequencies. So it is not as if beings from other dimensions must come and visit you. We live among you. And that is why we advise all of you to call on us at any time. You need not have a name. You need not have a specific identity. Simply send out the desire for some benevolent being at a higher level of frequency with a bigger picture than you have in your limited point of view as a human to assist you. In this connection, ask a very specific question and be open to the answer. There is only here in consciousness. And so all of the answers you seek are here. You are part of a holographic reality. And therefore, all the answers that you seek are contained in every bit of reality. So ask away. If the answer is forthcoming and serves the greater good, it will come to you. We thank you for the question. And another, please.
Thank you. What is the next step in human communication? Will there be widespread telepathy or a different form?
Experiencing now this telepathy. Many of you experience it with those with whom you share space on a higher level. But the younger generation is coming in and they are already more highly attuned. If they would set aside their electronic instruments and focus more on the heart, they would notice how much more connected they are. And yet we do not disdain your electronics, for we are taking great advantage of that now, are we not? However, you are seeing more and more people opening to their own abilities. Hear us well. This is an innate ability to tune into higher consciousness, for you do not do this with the human body. Although it does act as an antenna, you connect with the soul. And that is why we advise you always to dissolve to the heart space and tune in there, not with the thinking mind, but with the soul. The heart is the bridge. And another.
Can a human regress in awareness and love and return to the spirit realm with a lower vibration than they came to Earth with?
What an excellent question. There are those who become so much in despair that they do slip backwards, but evolution is always onward and upward. We wish all of you to know that each of you comes into this life with an angelic helper, which you may call a guide, and they will nudge you at a soul level. Of course, you read in your headlines about those who make poor decisions, and in a way that is regressing, yes. It does add to the evolution, though, of the whole as those around rise up in protest to what they know is a wrong. And so certain regressions are allowed to take place, but we wish you to know that those who cross the veil, who do not add more to the whole, are given, as you might understand it in human terms, remedial attention, but always, always with love. So that that energy, when it is allowed to be subsumed back into the whole, adds to the whole. We thank you for that one. And another, please.
Is suicide ever part of a soul's contract before coming to Earth?
you know, we will hear various opinions on this, and the teaching of this group to this one has been consistent from the very beginning, that yes, soul contracts do take place, but a soul does not come in willingly know that they will end that life of their own hand. However, they are aware that there may be a higher than normal propensity to want to exit early. In other words, certain souls take on challenging lifetimes that they know will dearly challenge them at a human level. Can you imagine guides sitting beside them saying, now, are you aware that this will be most challenging? And you, the soul, will say, yes, but I do feel I am up to the challenge. And so that soul enters into the lifetime and is given much help, but we are quite aware what a challenge it is you face in human terms. And there are always variables, interactions with other humans in various levels of awakening, interactions that do change things as we go along. And those who are not awakened do not always hear the guidance from the guides at their sides. And so should a soul decide to end their life early, usually this is at the point when they would be allowed to return in any case. And so again, many variables, but please know that those who pass early are met again, just as all souls are, only with love, and much learning ensues, even if it is after the passing. We hope this has brought you comfort and awareness. Is there another question?
Is astrology real? Are we affected by the positions of planets and moon?
Just as you are affected by your moon and the tides and monthly cycles, the planetary movements affect you at a level far greater than many realize. A push and a pull, cycles upon cycles. There are those who spend a lifetime diving into this, and you would be well suited to pay attention to these. But we ask you to look at the in-depth information and not necessarily a short paragraph in a newspaper that applies to many. And so, yes, give much credence to astrology. It is a science in its own right. Is there another question?
Thank you. It is hard for me to understand why innocent children and animals are allowed to suffer abuse and neglect. Why don't guides or angels step in to help?
This is where it is so very important for all of you to understand. You are both human and soul, and the greater consciousness, tripartite beings. At the soul level, there is always awareness that all is well. The very bravest of souls take on challenging lives. This is not to say that human beings who are not awakened do not cause damage at the human level. But at the soul level, there is always awareness that all is well. Yes, at the human level, suffering takes place, but this is why we come to teach all of you. You can step back, rise above, dissolve, use whatever analogy helps you, but understand you can always change perspective. You can join us here and now and see the greater picture, that in the suffering at the human level, there is such an outcry from those whose souls cry out and say, this is not right, we must help. Do you not understand that we are loving beings? There is such an outcry that change does occur. And so it is allowed to happen. This is part of the human experiment. Humans learn by trial and error. And we ask you so many times with a bit of humor, simply to lighten your way. How is that working for you? And it often does not work well at all, and change ensues. But we wish to tell you again and again, to remind you over and over, the soul cannot be harmed. You see a death, a murder as a tragedy, and at the human level, of course it is. But at the soul level, the soul is fine, for there is no death of the soul. That one who passes may appear to suffer in the human drama, yet at the same time, the soul is watching and hoping so very much that by ending their part in the human experiment, others will grow. If you can learn to ask, how can we create more love, bring more love into this world as a result of this atrocity, instead of asking why, then growth will occur. If the answer to why is that it helps to awaken people, perhaps that is a salve to your wounds, but it does not happen for that reason. It is the result of ignorance of those who do not realize they are souls in human suits. So have compassion and understanding for those who still slumber, and do not add fuel to the fire by adding anger and ignorance. Have compassion and know at the soul level, all is well. You have a long way to go until you no longer experience these tragedies. But the more of you awaken and come to know that you can hold the light that is your true nature, the more the light of the whole will turn up. We thank you for these most valuable questions, and we will entertain another.
Are there souls who refuse to cross over when their bodies die? And if so, why?
Can you picture the child who is kicking and screaming, the 2-year-old toddler who says, but I do not want to go, mommy. I do not want to do that at all. At the soul level, this is not happening, for the soul is so surrounded by the angelic helpers. But there are some souls that cling to the story. The merging with the human being is so tight that some souls do remain in human awareness. It is a bit of a cloudiness, like still wearing sunglasses. But as the soul is able to separate from the story, there is awareness that it is time to move on. We hope that that answer has been clear. And we are asking the group present here to turn up more energy as we are answering many questions more than normal. As you turn up the energy, we return to the question at hand. The greater soul is always aware of the greater good. You do have some souls who are so enmeshed in the story that they are enjoying it. But it is as if coming out of a dream. Do you not know what it is like to awaken in the morning and feel a bit sleepy, and you are coming out of a good dream and you do not quite want to awaken? Are you quite familiar with this state? And yet you become more and more aware, oh, I am supposed to get up and get about my day. That is what it is like for those souls who remained asleep in their human life. Those of you who awaken as fully as possible, cross the veil and are instantly completely aware of your soul nature, able to communicate immediately with loved ones who are still in physical form. So it is a continuum, a spectrum. No souls are truly stuck, simply still caught in the dream. All awaken as they are meant to. Another question, please. And we thank you for the energy.
Is abortion part of the soul plan of both the unborn baby and the mother?
Not necessarily. Again, these are choices made at the human level that affect the soul's growth. But we wish to tell you that the soul of the unborn baby is always sending love to the mother and knows that perhaps something greater will come as a result of it, and sends that love for the duration of that mother and father's lives in human form. And there will be a joyous reunion when they do meet all again across the veil. Another question, please.
When our desire is so great to connect to our loved ones on the other side and to communicate with spirit, what is preventing us? What is the blockage? How do we start?
It is occasions such as this, when you open the portal through your belief that there is a greater reality, that you increase your ability to connect, There are many variables, but all of them having to do with the energetic field and the greater good. Please understand that you are not to place blame on yourself if you are not connecting. Oftentimes you are not aware that there is a reason you are not connecting. Could it be that you have more growth to take place at this level before you connect? All happens at the perfect time for each one of you. We will tell you that the energy of grief is like an anchor. It is like a blanket around your energy field, and be very easy on yourselves when you are going through grief. Know that your loved ones across the veil are doing their best to let you know that they are fine and that they love you still. And they will be there when you have raised your vibration sufficiently and the time is right for your soul to make that connection. But do continue. It is not a matter of trying. There is effort with trying. It is more a matter of surrendering and simply being. Being what? Being your true nature as pure awareness. The soul nature simply is love, a shining light. And you have come here to allow that light to shine. Do you need to work hard to allow your light to shine? It is far easier than you are aware. Simply refuse to honor any darkness. Set it aside and say, I am going to let my light shine. Sit in the power of your true nature. And the more you do this by building that innate power, we dare say you will find your connection rising. We will entertain one or two more, please.
Do we have the same group of guides every life we live, or are some of them replaced?
Now we ask you, would you like to have the same job lifetime after lifetime? A bit of humor here to raise the vibration. Your guides take you on most willingly. You are their assignment for life, those who are your life guides. But we wish you to understand that they grow just as you do, through your connection, through helping you. You can help them by acknowledging their presence, by sending gratitude to them. When your lifetime in physical life is over, you will join them and you will review your life and you will find out just how much you helped each other. And then a decision is made. Again, there is no one set answer for each soul group and soul pairing. But yes, guides continue to grow just as do human souls. And one more, please.
Do human souls ever reincarnate as animals?
A very good question. And we have always advised you that this evolution is ever upward, ever ongoing. Not to say that human souls are less valuable than, that animal souls are less valuable than human souls. Of course, there are always exceptions, but our main teaching for you here today is that there is one field of consciousness. You are an emanation of this field. Through intention, you may actually merge with the soul of animals here and now. Are you aware of this? You can come to see through the eyes of animals and experience what they experience now. You have seen this with your animal communicators. How is this possible? This is possible for spirit is spirit, and consciousness is expressing itself in limitless ways through animals, through plant and trees and human beings and other beings beyond your planet. And so if consciousness chooses to incarnate as an animal, is that you as a human, or is that you as the greater consciousness having that experience? You are seeing this and asking this question from the human viewpoint. But can you see that you can shift to the top-down viewpoint of spirit itself and know that you as pure spirit have the choice to incarnate as whatever you wish? In this moment, you, who you identify with as a human being, are on a trajectory to experience life in human form. But the more you grow in awareness of the unity of all that is, you understand that you have never been separate from animals, plants, trees, any being that exists. It is all one light. Take a breath with us now and soak up that light. And as you look about you, as you leave this gathering, perhaps you will see the plants, the birds, the insects, the animals, and all humans as your brothers and sisters. And yet even that is putting it into human terms, is it not? Perhaps you will see all as your fellow lights. Have a greater understanding how all of you fit into the entirety of all that is. This is the true meaning of oneness. You have gathered as a group of humans, but if you were to dissolve your focus on the stories now, how is it possible that you would not merge in awareness with a flower, an animal, an eagle? Source wished to have an experience as you. What a blessing it is to be you in this moment. Source wished to bring more love into this world as you. How does it feel when you radiate love to other beings? Why, you blossom like the flower. How does it feel when you growl at another like a lion? You can always become aware when you are aligned with your true nature. Look at nature, the greatest example of love, of cooperation, of unity. If our words today have helped you to understand how you, as a finite experience of love in a body, add to the whole, we are most grateful. If you go forward from this sacred time together and truly feel and know your indivisible connection with all creation, then it will have been time well served. You are so very loved. It can be no other way, for love is who and what you are. We thank you so very much. Call on your guides at any time. You are never alone. We bid you good night. All right. Wow. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. All righty. Jana, thank you so much for making this possible today. And
There's no words, and may you feel the gratitude that is pouring from my eyes to all of you, and to you, Suzanne, a beautiful ambassador of spirit.
and my gratitude to you, Janet. Truly, we're also connected. I mean it sincerely. I wouldn't be doing this work if it weren't for you.
Thank you.
You see how people come into your lives, and if I've come into any of your lives, pay it forward, please. And we'll do this again as we're called. And I thank you again for your donations. Please keep track of Janet's beautiful schoolhouse project and watch how you have helped to make that a reality as a healing temple to help others and help others know that love is all that matters. Thank you, Bev, and thank you all. And just know, remember the message. You're so loved. Bye-bye.